Some say the greatest sorrow of adulthood is meeting the love of your life, only to push them away with your own hands, trading a lifetime of regret for the appearance of worldly perfection. Others argue that restraint and responsibility are never cowardice, but the most precious dignity an adult can have. In the eternal struggle between love and rules, freedom and society, Martin Scorsese's The Age of Innocence gives the cruelest and most truthful answer. This classic film, underrated by many viewers, uses a gentle yet tangled love triangle to tear open the glamorous illusion of 19th-century New York high society. It also speaks to the lifelong fate that traps ordinary people. We spend our whole lives longing to break free from restraints, only to finally become the very shape that social discipline demands. New York in the 1870s is like an exquisite and gorgeous cage for the upper class. Within this aristocratic circle, there is a suffocating set of rules for survival. Marriage is a transaction of matching family status. Respectability is a mask worn for life. Emotion is a forbidden thing that must never be shown. Everyone lives inside the same template: obedient, orderly, and afraid to take even half a step beyond the line. They wear elegant formal clothes, attend luxurious banquets, and speak with graceful propriety. They appear bright, privileged, and noble from birth, but in truth, they are tightly bound by invisible chains of social etiquette. Their whole lives are lived for other people's eyes and for the rules of their class. A young aristocrat named Archer is the perfect model of this world. He is the heir on whom the entire family places its hopes. He is well educated, refined, yet hiding a rebellious streak. His fiancée May is likewise born into the prominent Welland family. May is dignified, graceful, gentle, and obedient. Since childhood, she has been strictly trained into the standard aristocratic woman of high society. She understands the rules of her class deeply, and she is the ideal partner dreamed of by countless sons of powerful families. After she and Archer announced their engagement, the first person May wants to tell is her cousin Ellen, who married far away in London. At 18, Ellen married a powerful European count under her parents' arrangement for the sake of family alliance. But after marriage, her life is extremely difficult. The count is decadent and cold, keeping her at a distance for a long time. In that era, even when a woman faced a marriage like this, she rarely had the right to resist. Whether the marriage could be dissolved was something only the man could decide. But Ellen is different from any woman of that time. She does not want to endure, and she does not want to submit in silence. In the end, she chooses to flee the marriage, even if she will face mockery from others and scolding from her family. To regain her freedom, she still returns to New York alone and seeks refuge with her grandmother. At the home of May and Ellen's grandmother, Archer meets for the first time the legendary woman his fiancée has spoken of. What they do not know is that from the moment Ellen returns to New York, the fates of all three of them become tightly intertwined. A game of love, responsibility, and society officially begins. Grandmother is the only person in this world who truly accepts Ellen and protects her, but even under the old lady's protection, Ellen still becomes the immoral woman whispered about by high society. Archer's family also angrily condemns her at the dinner table. They believe Ellen has damaged the dignity of their circle. They even hope Archer will cut off all contact with her, so that she will not corrupt May or affect May and Archer's engagement. Archer's first formal encounter with Ellen happens at the party hosted by May's grandmother. At that time, everyone looks at Ellen with contempt, even if they pretend to greet her warmly. The moment they turn away, they whisper about her behind her back. Ellen has already seen through it all, but she does not lose her manners and still carries herself with pride. Only when she takes the initiative to speak with her future cousin-in-law does she begin to relax. And Archer also senses that Ellen has a quality completely out of place in this social circle. Ellen does not deliberately please others, nor does she hide her emotions. When she speaks of the difficulties in her marriage, she does not complain, only faces them with clear-eyed honesty. She has independent thoughts and the courage to resist. This authenticity and openness are like a beam of strong light, striking precisely into the heart Archer has suppressed for many years. Compared with May, who has been disciplined so completely that even her manners must meet a standard, Ellen's shadow quietly settles in Archer's heart. He begins paying attention to Ellen without realizing it. He sees Ellen's loneliness and helplessness. He also sees her resilience and clarity. The feelings in his heart grow stronger and stronger. Ellen is extremely surprised by Archer's private visit. She does not hide her embarrassment at all. This apartment was rented for her by her grandmother just a few days ago. At the moment, she not only has to endure the blow of gossip, but also faces the difficulty of how to support herself. Talking with Ellen makes Archer feel deeply relaxed. Their understanding of the world and their attitudes toward life are remarkably similar. When speaking about her past, Ellen cannot stop herself from crying, but after a brief moment to gather herself, she holds back the tears that are about to fall. As they spend more time together, the tacit understanding and affection between them grow even stronger. Archer understands that she is simply bravely pursuing her own happiness. He believes Ellen has done nothing wrong. To show that he stands on the same side as Ellen, Archer often goes to the flower shop. He personally selects yellow roses, symbolizing independence, and has them sent to Ellen's apartment. Not only that, they begin meeting frequently. They take walks together, share happy moments, and confide their troubles. To find someone whose soul fits his own is something Archer cherishes deeply. Archer even takes the initiative to help Ellen handle her divorce from the Count, wanting her to gain true freedom as soon as possible. And through Archer's gentleness and understanding, Ellen feels a warmth she has never had before. This one-of-a-kind empathy also causes Ellen's cold heart to gradually fall. But from the very beginning, their love is destined to be difficult. By this point, Archer is already engaged to May. He is the devoted and reliable groom-to-be in everyone's eyes, and Ellen is May's cousin. She is the rebel despised by society. Their love is not only a betrayal of the engagement, but also an open challenge to the rules of the entire upper class. Meanwhile, the Count far away in London feels humiliated by the divorce. Even though he has countless lovers, he still declares that he refuses to divorce. He also sends someone to New York, trying to force Ellen to return. After Archer learns of this, he steps forward once again and becomes Ellen's legal advisor. In the process, to avoid the eyes of outsiders, they agree to meet at an old house on the outskirts of town. Archer confesses his love for the first time. He begins to waver. He wants to break off his engagement to May and face every criticism and hardship together with Ellen. But looking at innocent May, he is also filled with guilt. Just as he is preparing to be honest with May, he pulls himself back in an instant. In fact, May has also heard some gossip. She has sensed the change in Archer. May brings up her suspicion in a gentle but countering way. Instead, this makes Archer feel even more guilty. Archer realizes that his choice has never concerned only himself. It also concerns the fate of two families, and the eyes of countless people. So he chooses loyalty to the rules. He wants to say goodbye to Ellen once, a farewell about love.
She thinks I want to marry her at once, to get away from someone that I care for more.
I was just afraid of scandal for the family and you and May.
I have to. It's too late to do anything else.
You say that because it's the easiest thing to say at this moment, not because it's true.
I don't understand you.
You don't understand because you don't yet realize how you've changed things for me. You don't know all that you've done.
All I've done.
All good things you've done for me, Newland, that I never knew. I never understood how dreadful people thought I was. Granny blurted it out one day. I was stupid. I never thought. New York meant freedom to me. Everyone seemed so kind and glad to see me. But they never knew what it meant to be tempted, but you did. You understood. Don't you see I can't love you unless I give you up?
With Ellen, Archer understands that he will only end up ruined. May takes the initiative to speed up the wedding preparations. She tries to bind Archer firmly to her side with the engagement. What is even more moving is something May once says, seemingly by accident. While with Archer, I know there is someone else in your heart, but I will wait for you to turn back. There is no accusation or complaint in these words, yet they carry the ultimate tenderness and pressure. They leave Archer completely trapped in guilt and struggle. Their wedding takes place as planned, and Ellen quietly leaves the city without a sound. Life after marriage is plain and uneventful. May remains as considerate and obedient as ever. Archer follows society's expectations, playing the roles of perfect husband, perfect father, and perfect gentleman. He dutifully cares for May, raises the children, and manages family affairs. He maintains the harmony of the household and the dignity of the family. He also becomes a model praised by everyone in their circle, but only he knows that behind this perfection is endless emptiness. Yet this calm is broken one day at grandmother's house by a familiar name.
Ellen, are you upstairs? She's over from Portsmouth, spending the day with me.
Hearing that Ellen has returned, Archer cannot suppress the restlessness in his heart. He finds a weak excuse to leave May's side. Then he goes to the back garden of grandmother's house. Searching for Ellen, he sees Ellen standing by the lake. Her lonely figure breaks Archer's heart, but Archer does not disturb her. Instead, he watches her from afar. Only at sunset does Archer finally turn and leave. Perhaps Ellen also feels that burning gaze, but from beginning to end, she never turns back once. When they return home, May deliberately teases her husband, asking why he did not stay and meet her cousin. Archer does not answer. The next day, Archer's family receives an invitation. A close friend of Archer's father invites them to attend a ball that weekend, but because of work, Archer has to visit a farm 100 miles away. Fate is strange like that. There, Archer runs into Ellen, who is reading alone in the park. The feeling of regaining what he had lost makes Archer's heart surge, but he tries hard to suppress the heart that feels ready to burst. Given who they are, all they can do is sit together and have a cup of coffee. They do not dare cross even the slightest line. After a brief exchange, Ellen rises and leaves. After this goodbye, who knows how many years will pass before they meet again? But neither of them expects that not long after, May and Ellen's grandmother will pass away. Ellen returns to New York once again. Just after the grandmother's funeral ends, Archer has a chance to be alone with Ellen. In the carriage, he no longer suppresses his emotions. He cannot help embracing and kissing Ellen, but Ellen stops Archer. Back at home, looking at his wife's quiet face, Archer is absent-minded. He has endured for too many years. Countless times, he has persuaded himself to live according to his heart. He decides that he must confess everything to May.
And there's something important I have to say to you right away. Because I should have spoken before.
Is it really worthwhile, dear? I know I've been unfair to her at times. Perhaps we all have. You've understood her better than any of us, I suppose, but does it really matter now that it's all over?
How do you mean, over?
Why, since she's going back to Europe so soon.
But everything returns to where it began. Ellen disappears as if she had never appeared. Archer's life looks complete and flawless, respectable and noble, but in truth, he has never truly lived a single day for himself. He spends his whole life understanding restraint and responsibility, and he also spends his whole life bearing regret and emptiness. 30 years later, May dies of illness. The gray-haired Archer travels to London on business with his younger son. Before May died, she told their younger son about the regret his father had carried all his life. Their younger son decides that while his father is still alive, he must let him see that important woman one more time. After asking around everywhere, he finally learns where Ellen lives in London. When Archer learns the truth, he tells his son that he wants to sit here quietly for a while. Under the sunlight, he keeps staring at that open window. He hopes Ellen's figure will appear, but he does not wait for Ellen. He only sees an old man around his own age open the balcony door. In that moment, he finally lets go completely. He finally understands that the love of youth has long been sealed away by time. Those true feelings never spoken, those obsessions never completed, have long since been washed beyond recognition by the flood of society. Between him and Ellen, what stood in the way was never mountains or seas. It was the rules of an entire era. It was the restraint and cowardice of his entire life. It was all the countless times he had no choice. Some loves, once missed for a moment, are missed for a lifetime. Some regrets run through the years with nowhere to dissolve. There is also another way to read it. The thing, and the person, that you cannot obtain or hold on to are what become a lifetime of regret and obsession. This film is not only about love, it is also a miniature portrait of the feelings and marriages that most ordinary people experience in plain daily life.